It is now time for the wide receiver portion of this, free agent list that I'm putting together. However, I think wide receiver is not one of the biggest needs for the Houston Texans. I love Brandon Cooks. I think he's one of the most underrated wide receivers. There was trade talks a couple weeks or about a month ago. I really don't think Brandon Cooks is going to be traded. He even said himself that he no longer wants to get traded. 2 years on the Houston Texans, back-to-back 1,000 yards. Had 1,000 yards with Deshaun Watson. Had 1,000 yards without Deshaun Watson. Definitely love Brandon Cooks here. You also have to add in Nico Collings, who we just drafted, from Michigan. Absolutely love what he did in his rookie year. Almost 500 yards. Did have just only one touchdown. But looking forward for a strong year 2 from Nico Collins. That's why I'm not really worried about the wide receiver group. However, I do hope they address it not only in the draft, but in free agency as well. And these list of 5 guys, right, they're not guys that the Houston Texans have to, break the bank on. Some of these guys are low risk, very high reward. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Number 1 on the list is Braxton Barrels, the slot wide receiver from the New York Jets. The dude is coming off his best year, 46 catches, 431 yards, 2 touchdowns. Was also a return man, was given all-pro nods, had a kick return touchdown against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that is something I definitely want the Houston Texans to bring in. He's a primary slot guy. He has good hands. He finds the holes in soft coverages and creates separation underneath. Note, it's going to be hard to put a linebacker against this guy. He's shifty. He was very clutch for the Jets. Was converting on 3rd and long. Was converting on 4th down. Braxton Barrels, I think, is one of these guys who is a low-risk, high-reward. People still do not know the name of Braxton Barrels. You could get this guy on a cheap 2-year deal, and the potential that he has, he's only 26 years old. He is going to come in and just dominate the slot, and this is something that I've been asking for, is a slot wide receiver. The age is there. The versatility is there as far as not only is he good as a slot, but he gives you something in the return game. So very excited to see what the Houston Texans could do if they bring in a Braxton Barrows. Number 2 on my list is Russell Gage, wide receiver from the Atlanta Falcons, right? Definitely stepped up with, Julio Jones not being there and Calvin really, having some injury issues. 66 catches, 770 yards, 4 touchdowns, right? He's not a guy who was a deep threat, but he is your possession wide receiver, not afraid to go up, against the good corners, had some catches against Jalen Ramsey, is good at separation and man-to-man coverage, has for sure hands, is able to make the contested catch, can go up and get it. He is 6'1", he had a nice catch in the end zone, jump ball, came down with it against the 49ers. He is 27 years old. He had 700 yards this year, 700 yards the year before. I think it's only up for Russell Gage, right? He needs his chance. And if the Houston Texans can go in and bring someone like him, right, to me, that's a step in the right direction, because he has playmaker ability. Can he be a 1,000-yard guy here? We absolutely don't know. But one thing that we need to see is if the Houston Texans are willing to take a risk on someone like Russell Gage. I don't see why not. He is a potential, 1,000-yard guy in the making. Definitely needs to take that next step, maybe, with Pep Hamilton and, a better development of Davis Mills. We'll go ahead and see what Russell Gage could do. He'll step in here, probably be the number 2 wide receiver, and we'll see where the Houston Texans go. Number 3 is Cedric Wilson, from the Cowboys, 44 catches, 602 yards, 6 touchdowns. Had stepped up when Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper were just not on the field, and he really stepped up for the Cowboys, was pretty much slot dominant, and had, his best year. He is up there in age. He is 28. He has a long injury history. This is one of the low-cost, high rewards for, for the Houston Texans if they want to go ahead and take a stab at Cedric Wilson. This dude is very shifty, right? He is going to make people miss. He's shifty before the catch. He's shifty after the catch, right? He wants to juke you out. He wants to make you look absolutely silly. This guy is a playmaker, right? He wore number 1. The dude made plays for the Cowboys. Like I said, 6 touchdowns, 602 yards. Definitely stepped up for them. And maybe that's what the Houston Texans need, a shifty guy who can make absolute plays. He has some playmaking ability. Wouldn't mind the Houston Texans bringing in a veteran guy, like I said, 28 years old. And something that the Houston Texans definitely need is someone who can destroy the slot. Number 4 on my list is Jameson Crowder, right? 51 catches, 447 yards, 2 touchdowns. Everything about Jameson Crowder is consistency. His quickness is there. He has for sure hands. He's slot dominant. He's pretty much made his career in the slot. He's clutch, man. Doesn't drop the ball. He is there when you need him to be. When your QB is scrambling, when they're trying to convert the first down, Jameson Crowder always has a knack for being there and moving the chains. Did it with the Jets, did it with the Washington football team / Redskins. He is up there in age, right around 29, about to be 30. But what he brings is leadership, and that's something that I think the Houston Texans will need, alongside with also Brandon Cooks. It doesn't hurt to have a veteran slot guy who's been there before to help out Davis Mills, right? This is something that I want Davis Mills to get accustomed to, is having a slot wide receiver who can make plays for you. Jameson Crowder, he's definitely there. His game could translate. If you want to have him here for 2 to 3 years, you definitely can. Would absolutely love if the Houston Texans would bring in Jameson Crowder. Number 5 to finish off the list is DJ Chark from the Jacksonville Jaguars. 6'4". He's still very young, 25 years old. Has that 4.3 speed. Hands, could go up and get it. It's the size. He is what you want in a play-making wide receiver. This year had an ankle injury that pretty much kept him out the whole year. 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. The ankle really did him dirty. In 2020, he had 706 yards and 5 touchdowns. In 2019, 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. So he's definitely shown that he could put up numbers. I just think the guy needs a change of scenery. And this could be one of those low risk, high reward for the Houston Texans where he can do great things for you. Could definitely go up and get it. Like I said, he had 1,000 yards with the Jaguars. And then as dysfunctional as they are, is on the cups of being out. Urban Meyer said that he was a big guy who played little. I absolutely don't agree with that. I think DJ Chark could be that Robbie Anderson type guy who could come in and just absolutely take the top off of defensive. Wouldn't mind. And also, dude could be hella cheap. Wouldn't mind if the Houston Texans take a shot at DJ Chark. Now, these are the top 5 guys, not high name profile guys that scream all 1,000-yard Pro Bowler, all pro. But these are guys that I think the Houston Texans can not only get, but could get cheap and make immediate impacts for the team. Let me know what you guys think. As always, go Texans. You guys have a very blessed day.